Hi there, this is on Daily Recaps, and today I am going to be narrating a 2020 Korean thriller and drama movie titled #Alive. The apocalyptic movie is set in Seoul, South Korea, as a young video game live streamer struggles for survival after he is forced to lock himself up in his apartment during a ravaging zombie apocalypse. The movie starts with the protagonist, Joon-woo, a video game live streamer, who wakes up in his family apartment. However, he comes across a letter from his mom asking him to get some groceries, an instruction he clearly disobeys. He later moves on to play his video game with some friends connected. One of them goes on to ask him if he has seen what's on TV, only for him to get an emergency alert on his phone, which is followed by chaotic scenes in the streets. To his disbelief, he witnesses a daughter biting her mother brutally. He also hears some noise outside his door, and as he opened, a stranger quickly bashes him, leaving him scared. Soon, it is announced on TV that the violent behaviors are as a result of a virus, and some of the symptoms are screamings and bleeding of the eyes. Immediately, he notices that the eyes of the stranger was bleeding. Soon, he turns into a zombie, and Joon-woo barely manages to push him out in time. The scene then shifts to Joon-woo using his refrigerator to block the door for extra protection. Then, after a series of failed attempts to reach his mom on the phone, he receives a message from her assuring him of their safety and warning him not to leave the house. Having failed to get the groceries, Joon-woo faces the difficult task of splitting the little snacks left, as he is now determined to survive. Day 2 of the outbreak, a devastated Joon-woo sent an SOS message on social media in a bid to get help. In a bid to know the full extent of the virus, Joon-woo uses his drone to survey his apartment building, only to be left stunned as everyone had gotten infected already. In the evening, Joon-woo is awakened by some noise outside the street as a policewoman is chased down and beaten by a group of zombies. Feeling sorry for the woman, Joon-woo shouts out in order to distract the zombies. However, he succeeds in attracting a zombie who breaks into his house unknowingly to him. But luckily for him, he manages to send the zombie over the balcony. Meanwhile, as the days goes by, Joon runs out of water and food. He soon begins to hallucinate about his family before breaking into tears. To make matters worse, he gets a voice message from his mom, and from what could be heard at the background, his family were being attacked by zombies. A devastated Joon-woo angrily storms out as he attacks a few zombies, only to get outnumbered before barely making it back to his apartment, luckily for him. Feeling frustrated at losing his family, Joon-woo attempts to hang himself, only to be stopped by a red pointer from another survivor in the opposite building, and her name is Yoo-bin. Feeling elated by his discovery, Joon-woo exchanges pleasantries with Yoo-bin. It turns out that Yoo-bin is a skilled survivor who has a well-equipped shade trapped by the door, waiting to strike any zombie or a badass lady. Yoo-bin also has a plant which she loves, as she pours some of the little water she has remaining. The next day, after agreeing to meet by 7 a.m., Joon-woo wakes up by 11. He is then greeted with sadness after he did not see Yoo-bin outside. However, Yoo-bin suddenly comes out and Joon-woo apologizes. Meanwhile, she gets greeted by a zombie who has invaded her home, but it got caught in a shade trap. Then, after thinking for a while, Yoo-bin finishes off the zombie with her axe. During the evening of the next day, it started raining, so Joon-woo brings out some bowls to get water, and Yoo-bin brings out a plant also. However, while sitting, Yoo-bin notices that the 8th floor of Joon-woo's building is isolated while using her binoculars. The next day, after cleaning up, Joon-woo gets hungry, so Yoo-bin tries to throw a rope to Joon-woo, but it lands on the ground, but they ignore this. Then Joon-woo ties the rope to his drone and flies it over to Yoo-bin, who ties it to her end and sends food to Joon-woo. However, Joon-woo suddenly notices that the rope they dropped then is now in the hands of a zombie. Joon-woo then tries to warn Yoo-bin, but she gets knocked down after the zombie drags the rope which had been tied to a table. Now, with Yoo being knocked out, the zombie uses the rope to climb up to her. While watching all this, Joon-woo tries to stop the zombie by throwing a bottle at it, but to no avail. However, he gets an idea to use his drone to distract the zombie, giving Yoo time to recover and finish the zombie out. That was a close one. Now, due to the incident, Yoo has no food left, so does Joon-woo. Feeling inspired to survive, Joon sets out to raid his now zombie neighbor's home for food. After getting into the house, Joon grabs lots of food and other needed items. However, he is soon attacked by his zombie neighbor who seemed to have returned home, but he manages to escape and enjoys himself afterward. He also sends food to Yoo, and the pair cooks and enjoy themselves the next day, unaware of the coming danger. Soon after resting, Joon hears some noise outside and thinks it's rain, only for him to be stunned as for no reason all the zombies in the city started running into Joon's building. All of a sudden, Yoo forces something which attracts the zombies to her door. But before the zombies can break down Yoo-bin's door, Joon comes to her aid by distracting the zombies while using his landline to phone the other building. How very smart. Meanwhile, with the chaos going on, Joon and Yoo uses the opportunity to make a run for it to the isolated 8th floor in Joon's building. And despite the challenges they faced, they managed to get to the elevator. While on the 8th floor, they found out that most of the doors were locked before a group of zombies attacked. However, they are saved in time by another survivor who uses smoke bombs to distract the zombies. The stranger then offers them water and food, which they drink and eat while feeling elated that a rescue helicopter is on its way. However, it appears that the stranger had drugged the water and wants to feed them to his zombie wife. However, before the zombie wife could bite Yoo-bin, Joon comes to her rescue. Then the zombie wife pounces on the husband and he allows her to bite him before Yoo-bin pulls the trigger. Now the gunshot attracts all the zombies towards Yoo-bin and Joon. But before opting to kill themselves in order to avoid being eaten by the zombies, they see some helicopters coming, so they make a run for it to the top of the building. However, on getting to the roof, the helicopter is nowhere to be found, and when all hope seems to be lost as their bullets were exhausted, the helicopter suddenly comes to their rescue, killing most of the zombies inside. The movie ends as Joon changes his social media post from #StayAlive to #Alive.